Yo, what's up, Cat Daddy? What's up? I would drive off, but then the phone might fall. I went walking all the way over to across the street to show what it was like, and the damn phone didn't even record. I walked across the highway. Oh, I got my book. I know I probably thought I was gonna be boxing, but now I'm not boxing. And I don't know, man. Yeah, I keep telling you, man. I think it's easier to sell yo-yos than it is to sell books. That's my first one. That was called Corner Stores in the Middle of the Block. That's because in my neighborhood, there's a corner store, but the corner store is not on the corner. It's in the middle of the block. Out on the Bronx, on the Grand Concourse, you got a lot of bodegas. And what that was quiet as it kept. A lot of those bodegas used to be professional offices for doctors, lawyers, podiatrists, GYN clinics and stuff like that. That's what those little bodegas used to be on the Grand Concourse. Quite a few of them. Especially when I used to live on 176, I think it was. I can't remember the avenue in the Bronx. But then a lot of those buildings, like as the neighborhood changed, they started turning them into bodegas. And quite as it kept in Harlem had a lot of bodegas at one time. I'm going to go outside a little while. But Harlem had a lot of bodegas, black-owned bodegas, black-owned corner stores. We call them, and that's why they were called corner stores, but we call them corner stores. But a lot of times they don't be on the corner. They be in the middle of the block. But everybody still subconsciously we don't think about it. We still call them corner stores. But sometimes they're not on the corner. But we still call them corner stores, and we call them bodegas. So that's where that came from, corner stores in the middle of the block. And it's got some love poems in it. It's got my style of poetry. I'm not Robert Frost or Edgar Allan Poe or Paul Laurence Dunbar or Langston Hughes. I just write poetry in the way I see it. And that's why it's called Corner Stores in the Middle of the Block. I write about love and lust and social issues. And then this is the second book I did. This one is called Agitation Gets the Dirt Out. This one is called Pretty Ugly. I'm bugging. That's Pretty Ugly. And it's a love story. It's a story that takes place back in the summer of 1985. And it's about a girl named Apple and a guy named Big Zach. And this was the third book I wrote, Generational Curse. This one is called Don't Beat Your Children or They'll Turn Out Like Me. And this is funny, man, because black women get real upset when you say that. Don't beat your children. They like, shut the fuck up. You don't tell me how to raise my children. I raise my kids so the cops won't shoot them. Yeah. When you beat your children, you know you lower their IQ. You lower their IQ. And then they always say, I beat my kids so they don't go to jail. I beat my kids so the cops don't beat them. I beat my kids so they don't get... They always say these dumb reasons why they beat their children. So beating don't work. This shit don't work. That's a generational curse right there. Beating your children. That shit do not work. And if beating work, that's like a husband saying, I beat my wife. Where do y'all get this shit from? And what's worse than beating your children is verbal abuse. Because I done heard some shit, boy, growing up. Shut the fuck up. Sit the fuck down. Parents be talking to their kids like they dogs and shit. And this is the fourth book I wrote. This one is called Agitation Gets the Dirt Out. It's mostly poems and jokes about like everyday life in America. Like in this one it says, Dear police, you should stop and frisk white people too because they usually have drugs. They usually have better drugs. Stop and frisk white people too because they usually have better drugs. And I was thinking like the so-called war on drugs. Like a war on drugs. You got a war on poverty. A war on hunger. Whenever the policymakers talk about there's going to be a war, that means they can use legal and illegal means to do what they want to do. And I wrote that about stop and frisk because I remember I was stopped and frisked twice that I remember. I was stopped and frisked once coming right out the building. As soon as I came out the building, the cops stopped and frisked me. And see, you don't know. They put that badge in your face. And it be some white dude and shit, got the gun in your face. They don't show you their badge. But it's a little intimidating because imagine if you get, they catch you in a bad mood and you fight them back. Then you really gonna get arrested. That stop and frisk policy is some bullshit. And if they were so adamant about finding drugs, they should do stop and frisk in the suburbs too. Do stop and frisk soon as people come out the mall. Stop and frisk them. Go to the suburbs and stop and frisk people, and I guarantee you'll find drugs. I guarantee you. But they do that stop and frisk shit in the hood because people don't know the law. And the minute you start to defend yourself, it's gonna make matters worse. But these are my 4 books. Agitation gets to the corner stores in the middle of the block. Pretty Ugly, a Harlem Situation. And this is where the name Brad Bathgate came from, because when I wrote this book, I didn't want people to know I wrote it. So I wrote it under the pseudonym Brad Bathgate. This one is don't beat your children. You want to make a black mother mad? Tell her don't beat her kids. Tell her don't beat their kids. I be feeling sorry for kids, man. I ain't never hit my daughter. Man, that's crazy. You gonna beat somebody because they don't want to do. And most children get beat for things they don't deserve a beating for. They're only doing what they say their parents do. A lot of times they copying off of you. Instead of talking to them, you need to talk to them. Talk to them. You need to beat them and agitate. And I got that title from Prince. Don't beat your children or they'll turn out like me. Check out my book online, y'all. You want to see what it look like outside? See? That's where I be at. That's like the highway over there. I know like people from Greenville be laughing. They be like, you be showing people this shit. I just came from over here at the QT. I'm gonna go downtown. I'm gonna go downtown and try to sell some books. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here, alright? Check out my book online, right, y'all? Get a copy. My books are selling for $14.98 and $3.98 for shipping and handling. All right.